In this demonstration video, we'll be taking a look at the service request tool within Projectricity. After you first log in to Projectricity, you're presented with the My Portal screen, and from here you can choose the service request option, where all of the service requests for the currently active project will be displayed. In the upper right hand corner, there's a drop down from which you can select any project that you have visibility to as a user to make your quote current project. What that does is filter all of the records in the service request report display for just that project. It's also possible to expand the filter to all projects, not just the current project, but we'll leave it on the current project for this demonstration. Looking at the list of service requests, on the left hand side we can see an icon here which, if we click, will bring us to the detail window for a given service request. But looking across the fields here, you can see several fields that are available for display. And this is just a subset. There are other fields that are available for display which you can select from this Select Columns option. More details in the interactive report user interface video on how to use this option as well as all of the other options for this type of a user interface display. But we'll focus mostly on the service request itself in this video. So a couple attributes, however, that are useful to mention is that the column headers are click sortable, and you can also suppress columns from display and provide sortable strings, text strings, or pick values that you can filter on, much like the data filter option in Excel. So let's go in and take a look at the details of a given service request. Service requests are typically, say, a defect, and there's a type code field here that is definable for each client installation. And we might also, say, have change requests that come through that we track as a service request, or maybe just an issue, maybe a decision, maybe just a user assistance request, possibly a technical assistance request. And again, these are all completely customizable by client. So looking across the available fields here, we have a title field here, and we're also able to assign the service request to a certain user who's part of the current project. This is part of the isolation by project, so that you can essentially have projects in the system where users are only active in one project or another, and they would be unaware of the existence of other projects. We could define a tester, and typical with defects, you may want to record a product version in which the issue was reported, and maybe plan a release by indicating the target version for the fix, and then record the version it was actually fixed in, where you could then generate a view of the service requests for just those that were fixed in a version, and then publish that information with your release notes of a given product release. Status, category, again, all customizable. Severity values, a numeric priority, so you would be able to use real numbers there and fine-tune the prioritization, like 1.1, 1.01, and so forth, so that you have fully sortable priorities. Looking down at the larger fields here, there's a large description field, an area to define the steps to recreate the issue, and maybe you'd like to capture a workaround as a temporary fix, and maybe some diagnostic and resolution information. Here we can also see a field here to add in a new comment and add to a discussion history, which any comments added will get saved along with other changes made to the service request. There's also a few additional fields not displayed on the Detail tab that have to do with the affected area, maybe a prevention code or a description on how this problem might have been prevented. All changes that are made to a service request are logged in a history area, and this Change History tab allows you to view the history of all changes. This is again in this interactive report user interface. If you're interested in all the details there, you might view the demonstration video on that topic. But what this would allow us to do is, say, just view maybe changes to the status. I can filter on that, and I can see the chronological progression from one status to the other, who did it and when that was done. And I can even turn off that filter and turn it back on if I like, or remove it altogether. So going back to the detail view, we'll now take a look at the sidebar area over here on the right. This first sidebar area, titled Linked Objects, lists all the items in the system that are linked to this service request. In this case, we've got a number of files that have been uploaded and linked to the service request. So you might capture documents in the system, link them to a service request that maybe contain more descriptive information or screenshots or other artifacts related to some type of a service request here. We can also see there's a number of tasks that are linked to this service request, and there's also the ability to link to test case results and requirements. The test case result linking is a special case where there's extra close integration between the test case results and defects, allowing you to create new defects directly from failed test cases. The ability to create links to existing items is available in this sidebar area, and there's actually a separate demonstration video on how to do object linking. There's also the ability to subscribe users to any particular object in the system, in this case a service request. When a user is subscribed to a service request, any change that is then made to that service request will result in an email, an automated email coming from the system to each subscribed user. The change emails show the details of what was changed, the before and after values, as well as the full discussion history, who subscribed to it. So really is sort of a little mini report in itself. That's a good little overview of the service request tool. There is a dashboard view, just as one last point here, allowing you to get a graphical view of some open and close rates of service requests, but just a basic display there. So heading back to the main screen, we're back where we started, and I encourage you to look at other demonstration videos you may have interest in. Thanks.